Hello everyone, a very good afternoon to all of you. This is Ashwin Ramani, your research analyst at SBI Securities. I hope I'm audible and I hope you are able to see my screen. If you all can give me a heads up in the chat box. अगर मेरी आवाज सुनाई दे रही है, स्क्रीन दिखाई दे रहा है तो आप मुझे एक बार चैट बॉक्स में कमेंट करके बता सकते हो. So that I know you are with me live in the session. Sudhakar ji, good afternoon. Chandrasekhar ji, Akhil ji, Rakesh ji, namaste, good afternoon. Sridhar ji, Harish ji, good afternoon to you as well. Sachin ji, good afternoon. Audio video is clear. Okay, perfect. Shri Krishna ji, Murthy ji, good afternoon. Parmeshwaran ji, good afternoon to you as well. Okay, great, superb. Kamal ji, good afternoon. So market में I think structure थोड़ा सा हिल गया आज. I think we were moving into a sideways zone for the last 3 days, and today we have got a breakdown. And though Nifty came close to 25,500, we have seen some pullback in the Nifty index, but we start off on a negative note. IT index, yes, IT is again down another 4%. So I feel there should be more downside for IT in the coming days. I think IT is going through structural change now. I mean, despite a good quarter, despite good results, I think there's a lot of AI noise. अभी इसमें से कितना फ्रॉथ है, कितना actual value है AI का, and how fast the IT companies adapt AI. See, IT has been thrown a lot of challenges in the last 15-20 years. Whether that was the ERP implementation or whether it was SAP or whatever it was, I think IT has kind of adapted to that. So I'm pretty sure the AI won't be too big of a challenge for the IT companies ahead. But yes, thoda threats dikh rahe, so I think we'll have to assess quarter by quarter. And I think hopefully the Q4 numbers will kind of show up now. I think we'll have to wait and see कि Q4 numbers क्या करते हैं IT के लिए. But I would still say avoid bottom fishing now, because if you want, you can take that knife on your chest. But I think it's better to avoid bottom fishing because we don't know where this fall is going to end. So better to avoid IT, wait for some signs of stability, some reversal, before you could look to enter into IT again. Now, okay, in that note, let's start off with today's mid-market session. If we look at the global markets first, US markets की बात करें, so US markets faced some profit booking yesterday. Dow Jones closed 1.3% lower, S&P 500 was down 1.5%, Nasdaq was down 2%. So again, tech sector again was down. Again, AI disruptions is not only seen in India, but it's seen in the US as well. If we look at Dow futures is down 0.21%. So again, Dow futures, it's indicating I think a flat to negative start to the US markets today. If you look at the European markets, Germany is almost flat, 0.01%. London is down 0.67%. France is up 0.33%. So France was the only index that closed in the green. If you look at Eurostox index, that was down around 0.04%. If we look at the Asian markets at the current juncture, so almost all the Asian markets are seeing profit booking. Hang Seng is down 1.6%, Nikkei is down 1.2%, China is down 1.2%. If you see Kospi has also shed some gains, 0.28% lower, though Kospi continues to remain the best performing global index. That is up around 18.32%. Sensex again, it's down 0.9%. Nifty is down 0.78% for the day. So clearly again, there is thoda sa pressure aa gaya. I don't know how many of you all have read that news yesterday that Russia is probably moving to the dollar system. I think I don't know how many of you all have seen that news yesterday. So I think Russia and US probably have agreed to a deal, and Russia is looking forward to move into the dollar settlement system now. So that whole theory of de-dollarization and BRICS, I think again comes into question now. Uh, so we'll have to wait and watch how that pans out going forward. I think it came on Bloomberg, but I think nobody is talking about it in Indian media for now. So I think there was some news that flashed on Bloomberg yesterday. So we'll have to wait for some more details on that. I think that is a surprise. I think if that happens, if Russia moves to the dollar system, hopefully then I think Russia-Ukraine ceasefire might be coming soon, with Russia gaining advantage, and maybe US will probably redevelop Ukraine now. I think US will probably take greater control over Ukraine also. So we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. I think that's a big question mark on BRICS and de-dollarization if that happens going forward. If you look at the macro indicators, so dollar index again, it continues to be down. Dollar index, I think post hitting its 20-day EMA around 97.6, 97.8, it kind of saw dollar index moving down here. So as long as it trades below the 98 mark, the overall trend again, it's likely to be bearish. If you look at dollar by rupee, again, dollar by rupee, again, it's around the 90.7 mark. It's been again consolidating in a range. Ideally, we want dollar to weaken against the rupee, move below the 90 mark. If you look at the Indian government bonds 10-year yields, a healthy drop. This is what we wanted. The 10-year yields was almost at the high of 6.7%. And from there on, we have gone to 6.6% here. Ideally, more drop should be seen in the coming days. Japanese 10-year yields again, post hitting the high of 2.38%, it's kind of consolidating in a range. If you look at the US 10-year yields, again, big drop in the US government bonds as well. So I feel a lot of bond market purchase is happening in US and Indian markets. That is the reason why the yields have kind of cooled off both in US and India. Japan, again, yields will stay at the elevated levels because there wasn't a rate hike this time, but chances are that there might be some rate hikes in the future. That is why, Japan yields are still at the elevated levels. If you look at Brent crude, so Brent crude, maybe yesterday, maybe because of that news is why I feel crude went down around 3% yesterday. Maybe, I mean, that's positive now. So if I think my personal belief is that, I mean, this is not as a recommendation or something. I feel if Russia agrees with US now, so Russia should be okay with us not buying Russian oil and maybe us buying US oil as well. So I feel maybe that can happen. So we'll have to wait and watch. But I think that is why even crude oil prices fell around 3% yesterday. So any move above 71 again, that could push the crude oil prices higher. And as long as we stay above the $67 a barrel mark, I still feel the overall trend for crude remains positive. India VIX has started to go up. I think India VIX is up around 6%. So there is some visible fear in the markets. I don't know where this fear is stemming from. I think largely got to do with the fear around the IT index here. I think that is what is kind of weighing on the market sentiment for the day. I think barring that, I don't see any major trigger for the market. So India VIX again up around 6%, 12.44 is where India VIX is. And that is the reason why we started off on a weak note, and we've been kind of seeing choppy movement since then. If you look at gold and silver, so I still keep getting a lot of requests from people saying what to do in gold and silver. I would say avoid gold and silver for now. Wait for some signs of stability, because if you look at, I think gold still, it's much better placed. It's still above its 20-day EMA 4,900. As long as it stays above 4,905, I feel the overall trend for gold still likely remains positive. I think any move above 5,100, 5,110, that could push the gold prices higher. Apart from that, even silver has seen some pullback, but I would say avoid silver for now. Don't create fresh positions, because post the drop that we saw in silver, it's kind of consolidating in a range here, and till the time it doesn't cross the $90 an ounce mark, there will be pressure in silver here. If you look at the FI positioning, so at least some positives as far as FIs are concerned. So in the last 8 sessions, there have been net buyers in the last 7 sessions. Though there have been some days where the buying intensity was not as much. So you could see 30 crores, 60 crores, 108 crores yesterday. These are not significant buy figures, but at least, the heavy selling that we used to see from FIIs, I think that has kind of mellowed down now, which is at least holding the Nifty steady. I mean, we are not seeing some major drops barring the IT index. So I think 5,236. So in the last 8 sessions, there have been net buyers to the tune of 8,442 crores. Long short ratio again has kind of taken a breather. I thought, the way it was improving from 16 to 18 to 22, I felt that the short covering intensity might kind of go up from here, and we might see long short ratio towards 25, 26, or even 30. But that hasn't happened. The long short ratio, the pace it picked up, it was not able to sustain that. So I still feel definitely there is some healthy short covering, but not healthy to an extent that it could kind of move the markets on the upside. So long short ratio again has been hovering around the 22% mark here. So I think this figure again needs to improve if we have to see any momentum back in Nifty on the upside. If we look at Nifty now, so I think this is the fall. I think कल हमने अगर आपको याद है कल के सेशन में हमने डिस्कस किया था, if Nifty breaks below 25,800, then we could see this gap getting filled. I think Nifty ने तो वो gap तो fill कर ही दिया, और एक नया gap आज create कर दिया है. And it has even dropped below the 20-day EMA here. I feel the next major support for Nifty will be this low, that is around 25,500. I feel that is going to be the major support for Nifty now, because the previous time we saw bounce from almost 25,490, 25,500. Today also we came very close to 25,500, bounce from 25,513. So I feel this 25,500 will be a very important level for Nifty now. And hopefully I think Nifty should recover from next week. I hope this is a one-off fall. Because see, by chance, if we go below 25,500, then I feel the big gap that was created the next day after the budget day, I feel maybe we could take out some of the gap here as well. And I think that will not be a good sign, because I think 3rd February, this was a positive, I think, post the budget and post the deal announcement. We were expecting that at least now Nifty will go up. But I think we have I think if we break 25,500, then probably we could see more pain in Nifty. And I think the resistance we could shift lower. So it was 26,000, then it was 25,800. I think we have gone down to 25,750 now. So till the time Nifty doesn't reclaim 25,750, 25,800, I think the overall trend is likely to remain sideways to bearish. Now, if you look at the 5 minutes chart, so nothing much is happening on 5 minutes. So post the gap down, we've been trading absolutely flat here. So, I mean, very difficult if you're an option buyer, especially Nifty. I think very, very difficult, extremely difficult to make money because market is not going anywhere. It's neither going up nor down, and it's been consolidating in a range here. So below 25,800, we'll still be sideways to bearish. But if Nifty breaks 25,500, probably next Monday, next week will be very crucial. Then chances are that we could probably fill some of the gap that was seen on the 3rd of Feb. Now, if you look at Sensex, so Sensex also has a similar chart structure. If you see, even Sensex opened with a gap down, and since then, Sensex has been moving in a range here. So clearly, again, no momentum in Sensex as well. If we look at the daily chart, again, I feel now the key level for Sensex should be around 80 to 700. अगर हम 80 to 700 के नीचे जाते हैं तो हो सकता है ये जो गैप जो क्रिएट हुआ है यहाँ पे 2 और 3 फरवरी के बीच, हो सकता है we could fill some of the gap here. And I think we can shift the resistance lower in Sensex. I feel till the time we don't reclaim 83,500 on the upside, that means, I mean, this gap, needs to be filled, quickly, because, till the time if we don't fill out this gap here, I think the overall trend again is likely to remain sideways to bearish. So 83,500 on the upside, till the time we are below 83,500, the trend is likely to be sideways to bearish. On the downside, if we break below 82,700, then I feel there could be more pain that we could see in Sensex. Talking about Bank Nifty, so Bank Nifty is weaker compared to the other indices. अगर हम Bank Nifty देखें, so Bank Nifty is down 0.64%. So Bank Nifty post the gap down opening, it kind of drifted even lower. If you see, Nifty and Sensex kind of stayed flat post the gap down opening, but Bank Nifty has kind of drifted lower here. Though we are seeing some kind of pullback, but still अगर हम daily chart की बात करें, so Bank Nifty पिछले 4 दिन, अगर आपको याद है, हमने कल ही एक रेंज मार्क किया था, and it has broken below that 6,500 zone. So 6,500 continues to act as an immediate resistance for Bank Nifty. I think if we don't reclaim 6,500 soon, if we reclaim 6,500, then hopefully we can see some pullback towards 6,850, 6,900. If not, if we close below 6,500, then again ये पूरा gap fill हो सकता है. Maybe we can move lower even towards 6,100, 60,000 on the downside. So clearly there is some breakdown that we are seeing both in Nifty, Bank Nifty, as well as Sensex. Now, talking about the key sectors to watch, so again, nothing fundamentally has changed. So IT continues to be in the lagging quadrant. So clearly, I think it's avoid on IT. And as far as the other sectors that are concerned, we are still same with what we discussed yesterday. So consumer durables again continues to stay in the leading quadrant. Nifty auto, there are some pockets of auto counters that are doing well. Nifty infrastructure again continues to be positive. Nifty manufacturing index also remains positive. Nifty financial services also, that remains in the leading quadrant here. There is some interesting traction that is seen in the pharma space. So pharma, if you remember, was in the lagging quadrant, and they've been moving from lagging to the improving quadrant here. So there is some momentum pickup in the pharma space as well. There are some couple of stocks that are doing well in the pharma space. We'll discuss the chart structure now. So again, avoid IT. It's a clear avoid on IT. Whereas the strongest looking sectors again are consumer durables, auto, infra, manufacturing, financial services, and pharma. These are the sectors that you should keep in your watch list. Now that we have discussed the sectors, now if we talk about some key stocks to watch, stocks that are showing a positive price action structure. The first stock that I want to discuss again, so even some of your broader markets are also doing well. अगर हम broader markets की देखें, mid cap आज थोड़ा प्रेशर है, it was down 1.12%, but अगर आप देखोगे एक lower level से एक buying आया है. From almost its 100-day EMA, there has been some strong buying interest, and it has formed a hammer-like candle on the daily chart. Similarly, even if you look at small cap also drifted lower in the morning trade, but there was some strong buying interest that was seen at the lower levels today. So Nifty and Sensex has remained flat. Bank Nifty has drifted lower, whereas if you see mid cap and small cap has seen strong buying interest from the lower levels here. Now talking about the key stocks to watch, the first stock would be Kirloskar Oil Engines. So I think that stock continues to do well. Despite the overall weak market today, the stock has been moving in a higher low formation. It trades above all the key moving averages, and I feel till the time it stays above the 1270, 1280 mark, the overall trend is likely to remain positive. Apart from that, like I said, even financial services as a sector is doing well. So Max Financial Services has given a major breakout from on its daily chart. यहाँ पे कल के सेशन में एक strong breakout आया था, and today we are seeing a strong follow through move as well. So you can kind of shift the support kind of higher. So this is where the resistance was. and maybe you can shift the support higher towards 1785, 1790. So till the time MFSL trades above this zone, the overall structure again it's likely to remain positive. The other stock from the financial services space, will be Bajaj Finance. अगर हम Bajaj Finance की बात करें, so clearly there is a downward sloping trend line breakout in Bajaj Finance. It was moving down. It even drifted below its 200-day EMA, but it was quick to reclaim back. And since then, it has been steadily moving higher. You can see RSI has also moved above 60. So for Bajaj Finance to move higher, it needs to stay above the 980, 985 mark. So till the time it's above 980, 985, again, the overall structure is likely to remain positive. Then, like I said, there is some traction that is building up in the pharma space. So pharma, again, Torrent Pharma is on the verge. It is almost on the verge of giving a breakout here. So this zone of 4,100, 4,110, it was kind of consolidating and not able to move beyond this resistance. And today seems like it is kind of trying to break that resistance again. So if we get a strong finish above 4,110, chances are that even Torrent Pharma is likely to do well. Apart from that, even JB Chemicals and Pharma, even that is one particular counter that is doing well. Again, it trades near its major resistance, which is around 1935, 1940. Though it is still trading almost 20, 22 points lower from its resistance point. But I think if we get any strong breakout above 1940, then chances are that even JB Chemicals and Pharma is likely to do well. You can see MACD has just crossed over the signal line, which is again indicates that there is a strong presence of buyers over the sellers here. Another pharma counter that looks well is Ajanta Pharma. Ajanta Pharma bhi agar hum dekhe, it kind of took strong support from its 50-day EMA, and since then it has steadily moved higher. The price is above 60. ADX has also moved above the 25 mark. So there is strength, bullish trend, strength bhi hai, which is a positive sign. So Ajanta Pharma, as long as it holds about 2,820, 2,830, the overall trend is likely to remain positive for Ajanta Pharma as well. Then, like I said, even infra as a sector is doing well. So Cummins India probably is one stock. It was beach में एक breakdown आया था, but there is some steady recovery that is seen in Cummins India here. The 200-day EMA acted as a strong support for Cummins India, and since then it has been steadily moving up. Now, if you see, it's been consolidating in a range, but I feel once this level is taken out, 4,460, 4,480, then chances are that Cummins India is likely to move higher. And it needs to, I think the immediate support is around 4,320, 4,330. Till the time it holds above this level, the overall trend is likely to remain positive. And the last stock that I want to discuss is L&T Foods. अगर आपको याद है, L&T Foods ने हमने discuss किया था. It has given a downward sloping trendline breakout. Breakout हुआ, retest हुआ, the same resistance acted as a support, and since then there is a steady follow-through move in L&T Foods. So till the time L&T Foods stays above the 410 mark, chances are that the overall trend again is likely to remain positive. So these are the sectors, these are the stocks. We discussed the index view. And that is what I wanted to cover in today's mid market. Now, talking about the most loved segment of the mid market, I would say. So the day earlier we discussed about P ratio. अगर आपको याद है, हमने एक P ratio के बारे में discuss किया था. P ratio is nothing but price to earnings ratio, a price that an investor is willing to pay for every 1 rupee profit that the company makes. So we compared the industry P with the stock P to find out which is undervalued, overvalued or fairly valued, right? ये हमने देखा था P ratio के बारे में. Now, then day before, I think yesterday we discussed something called as price to book value, where we see what is the price that an investor is willing to pay for the book value per share. So we compared the book value. Book value is nothing but your total shareholder funds. That includes your equity share capital, preference share capital, and reserves and surplus उसको आप डिवाइड करोगे बाय टोटल नंबर ऑफ आउटस्टैंडिंग शेयर्स, यू विल गेट बुक वैल्यू पर शेयर। फिर हम देखेंगे कि कितना बुक वैल्यू से कितना ज्यादा मार्केट में उसका प्राइस है। अगेन लोअर द बेटर। अगेन आपने एक कंपेयर हम करते हैं, इट्स नॉट दैट हम उसको आइसोलेशन में देखते। लाइक आई सेड, दिस इज यूज्ड इन बैंक्स, एनबीएफसीज और जो भी इंडस्ट्रीज है विच आर एसेट हैवी, वो पर्टिकुलर industries may we look at price to book value. One more valuation multiple we learned today, which is called as the PEG ratio, not the PEG that you are thinking about. But can anyone tell me how many of you all know about this PEG ratio, guys? आप मुझे एक बार comment करके बता सकते हो. Is there anyone who knows about PEG ratio? PEG ratio stands for price earnings divided by growth. यहाँ पे जो प्राइस अर्निंग्स है, मतलब पी रेशियो को हम क्या करते हैं, ग्रोथ के साथ भी कंपेयर करते हैं। कौन से ग्रोथ देखते हैं हम? प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ देखते हैं। कौन सा प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ देखते हैं? हिस्टोरिकल प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ या एक्सपेक्टेड प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ? उसको हम लोग यूजुअली वी कंपेयर दिस बाय एक्सपेक्टेड प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ। एक्सपेक्टेड प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ। So now tell me, what is the difference between a P ratio and what is the difference between a PEG ratio? Why, what is the limitation with P ratio and why I think PEG ratio is the one that you should be considering? P ratio में we compare price with earnings, but in PEG ratio we price earnings को हम लोग growth के साथ, expected profit growth के साथ भी हम compare करते हैं to find out कि सच में वैल्यू कौन से कंपनी में, which company is undervalued, which is fairly valued and which is still overvalued based on the PEG ratio here. See, because why growth factor is very important, because not all companies have a linear growth. I mean, so let's say there is a company A, there is company B, and then there is company C. We'll understand this with the help of an example. One company might be growing at a profit growth of 10%. One company might be growing at a profit growth of 5%, or one company might be growing at a profit growth of 25%. अभी एक का पी कम रह सकता है, मे बी इसका पी 20 हो, इसका पी 15 हो, या इसका पी 5 हो। कोई स्टॉक का पी अगर सिर्फ 5 है बट दैट इज ग्रोइंग एट 25%, सो वील हैव टू सी, बिकॉज नॉट ऑल कंपनीज ग्रो एट अ सेम रेट। सो इट इज ऑलवेज बेटर कि ये जो अर्निंग्स है ना, दैट शुड ऑलवेज बी एडजस्टेड विद द एक्सपेक्टेड प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ ऑफ द कंपनी। तब जाके हमें पता चलेगा कि व्हेन यू आल्सो अकाउंट फॉर द ग्रोथ प्रोस्पेक्ट अलोंग विद द अर्निंग्स, then you will ideally get कि which stock is undervalued, fairly valued and overvalued here. अभी एक्सपेक्टेड प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ के लिए हमें मॉडलिंग करके देखना पड़ेगा, गाइडेंस देखना पड़ेगा मैनेजमेंट का। बेस्ड ऑन दैट वी हैव टू look at models and see at what rate is the company going to grow their profits in the next year. But for the sake of simplicity हम क्या करेंगे ना, हम देखेंगे कि प्रीवियस 10 years में क्या प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ रहा है फॉर दैट कंपनी। मतलब एक CAGR ग्रोथ जिसको हम बोलते हैं कि हर साल एट व्हाट रेट इज द कंपनी मेकिंग प्रॉफिट्स एंड सेल्स ईयर। आइडियली वी लुक एट द प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ। सो हम लोग को 10 ईयर का जो प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ CAGR है उसके अंदाज से हम लोग एक प्लस माइनस आप कर सकते हो एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए, और वी कैन जस्ट टेक दैट 10 ईयर प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ CAGR एंड एक्सपेक्ट, जैसे हम लोग निफ्टी में बोलते हैं कि निफ्टी का CAGR इज अराउंड 12%, सो वी एक्सपेक्ट एटलीस्ट 12% Nifty to grow every year. It can grow beyond 12%, it can go below 12%, or it can grow exactly at 12% also. So हम लोग एक कंजर्वेटिव फिगर लेंगे, एक assumption लेके चलेंगे कि जो ग्रोथ हुआ है वही ग्रोथ अभी नेक्स्ट ईयर भी कंटिन्यू होगा। So now let us see with an help of an example here. So this is my Excel chart. Okay, so यहाँ पे मैंने क्या किया है, so let's look at the real estate company. So आपको example में clearly समझेगा। So here we are looking at stock P, we are looking at यहाँ पे मैंने क्या लिया है, 10 ईयर का CAGR प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ लिया हुआ हूँ। So now let us see DLF का प्रॉफिट प्राइस टू अर्निंग्स क्या है। So let's go to screener and let's look at DLF. DLF the industry P is around 31.3. So यहाँ पे मैं लिख देता हूँ, for real estate the industry P is 31.3 और this is industry P. DLF का P कितना है? 36.2. ठीक है, then we will see what is the P for Lodha. Lodha is 32. And what is the P for Prestige? Prestige ka P is 67.7. My God. Guys, just purely, Abhishek ji, I'll come to that part. एक concept बता के मैं आपका question answer करता हूँ. So between DLF, Lodha and Prestige, guys, purely basis on the P ratio, which one do you feel it's overvalued, undervalued, and fairly valued here? If you all can let me know in the chat box. So industry P for the real estate companies, especially I've taken the top 3 players from the real estate, that is DLF, Lodha, and Prestige. Industry P is around 31.3. DLF का stock P is 36.2, Lodha is 32, and Prestige is 67.7. So based on this, which one do you feel based on P ratio, purely on the basis of, so you can see Lodha is almost fairly valued, but can I say Prestige is 67.7? कुछ ज़्यादा ही valuation है Prestige के लिए. So can I say अगर people are paying more for Prestige, so अगर लोग ज़्यादा दे रहे Prestige में, so obviously ज़्यादा इसके लिए दे रहे because उनका profit growth अच्छा रहना चाहिए, sales growth अच्छा रहना चाहिए, इसके लिए they might be commanding a higher valuations, right? I mean, if people are paying so much, then that means obviously there might be something unique about that company. Now let's look at the last 10 years profit growth for these companies. Now, if you look at DLF, see, यहाँ पे हम लोग assumptions लेके चल रहे हैं. We have to look at expected profit growth for the next year, but what we are doing it for the sake of simplicity, we are looking at the last 10 years price growth. तो यहाँ पे आप जाओगे नीचे, you can see the compounded profit growth. So I'm not taking last 5 years, I'm taking a slightly bigger figure. So if you look at the last 10 years profit growth, it's been around 24%. So on an average, the profit growth for DLF is growing at 24%. So यहाँ पे मैं DLF का लिख लेता हूँ 24. Now let's look at Lodha. Lodha का last 10 years profit growth is almost at around 13%. So here I'll write 13. और अभी हम प्रेस्टीज देखते हैं. प्रेस्टीज का क्या होना चाहिए, क्या लगता है आपको, ज्यादा होना चाहिए कि कम होना चाहिए? आप मुझे एक बार चैट बॉक्स पे बता सकते हो. प्रेस्टीज का पी तो 67 है, तो ऑब्वियसली अगर लोग इतना पैसा दे रहे हैं प्रेस्टीज के लिए फॉर एवरी 1 रुपी प्रॉफिट दैट द कंपनी मेक्स, तो ऑब्वियसली उनका प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ सही होगा, रेवेन्यू ग्रोथ सही होगा, इसके लिए देते होंगे, राइट? नाउ लेट अस सी द लास्ट 10 years प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ फॉर प्रेस्टीज. नाउ लुक एट दिस. 10 years profit growth for Prestige is 3%. मतलब इसका ग्रोथ रेट देखो, लास्ट 5 years is 4%, 3 years में तो नेगेटिव है, 10 years के हिसाब से 3% है. नाउ अगर हम पैक अभी हम लोग निकालते हैं, DLF का P is 36.2 और इसका ग्रोथ इज 24, सो यार DLF का पैक कम्स एट 1.5, मतलब फेयरली वैल्यूड. अगर आप देखोगे 24% ग्रोथ के लिए 36 का P है, ओके. Similarly, if you look at the peg for Lodha, 32 का P है, इसका growth is around 13. So your Lodha का peg comes to 2.5. But when you do this, now when you adjust, आपको लग नहीं रहा है कि जो ग्रोथ प्रेस्टीज दे रहा है लास्ट 10 ईयर से 3% दे रहा है, ऑब्वियसली इट कैन ग्रो एट 5%. लेट्स से नेक्स्ट ईयर अगर प्रेस्टीज 10% से भी ग्रो होता है, इफ प्रेस्टीज गो, लेट मी चेंज इट टू दिस नंबर, even if it grows at 10, can I still say uska peg ratio will be around 6.8, but uska 10-year profit growth is just 3. मतलब इसका profit growth भी इतना है नहीं, still people are paying a higher price to that. Can I say between the 3, the least is of DLF? So आप बोल सकते हैं DLF is the one जो कि undervalued है. यहाँ पे आप सिर्फ price to earnings नहीं देख रहे हो, price to earnings purely आप देखोगे तो लोधा बनता है. बट जब आप ग्रोथ के साथ जब आप एडजस्ट करोगे, अगर मान लो प्रेस्टीज का ग्रोथ ना 50% होता, देन आइडियली दिस वुड हैव मेड सेंस, बट प्रेस्टीज इज ग्रोइंग जस्ट एट 3% एवरी ईयर इज द प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ. इसके लिए द पेग रेशियो इज एक्सट्रीमली हाई फॉर प्रेस्टीज ईयर. सो नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हेन यू लुक एट दीज एनालिसिस, ऑलवेज लुक एट द कंपैरेबल्स. इफ इट्स अ हायर पी, सी वेदर हायर प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ भी है कि नहीं. बट अ हायर पी है बट अ वेरी लो प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ, आई थिंक समवेयर उसका वैल्यू काफी ज्यादा है, इट इज स्टिल ओवर वैल्यूड एट दैट पॉइंट. So आप क्या कर सकते हो as a homework? Now you know so many things. I think you can look at sales growth, you can look at profit growth, you can see whether debt free है क्या, अगर debt है तो whether it is justified by the revenues, whether they have healthy reserves and surplus, operating margin कैसे है, net profit margin कैसे है, EBITDA margin कैसे है. You can look at ROE, you can look at ROC, you can look at P ratio, you can look at price to book value, you can even look at PEG ratio. See, there are so many things that you have learned until now. So based on this, as a homework आपको क्या करना है सैटरडे संडे को. हाँ, बीच में एक पॉइंट तो मैंने भूल गया यहाँ पे. कैश फ्लोज, ऑपरेटिंग कैश फ्लोज पॉजिटिव होना चाहिए. सो एज अ होमवर्क ऑन द वीकेंड मंडे आई आस्क कि ऐसा कौन सा कंपनी है जिसका सेल्स ग्रोथ पॉजिटिव है, प्रॉफिट पॉजिटिव है. आई ओके फॉर डेट फ्री. अगर डेट है तो इट शुड बी जस्टिफाइड बाय हायर रेवेन्यूज, रिजर्व्स एंड सरप्लस हेल्दी है, ऑपरेटिंग मार्जिन हेल्दी है, नेट प्रॉफिट मार्जिन हेल्दी है, एबिटा मार्जिन हेल्दी है, आरओसी ग्रोइंग ट्रेंड है, आरओसी ग्रोइंग ट्रेंड है, पी उसका कम है, प्राइस टू बुक वैल्यू भी कम है बेस्ड ऑन इट्स पीयर्स, एंड पेग रेशियो भी उसका कम है. सो प्राइस टू बुक, प्राइस टू इक्विटी, पेग, इसको आइसोलेशन में नहीं देखना है. लुक एट द टॉप 3 कॉम्पिटिटर्स ऑफ दैट स्पेस एंड फिगर आउट ऐसा कौन सा कंपनी है जहां पे आपको वैल्यू दिख रहा है. मंडे विल डू सचिन जी, ईपीएस विल डू इट ऑन मंडे फॉर श्योर. ठीक है. नाउ do let me know on Monday based on these particular factors as to which is that company that you are tracking and keeping in your radar here. So that was the concept topic for the day. Now let us start off with our question and answer. If you have any queries, any doubts, do let me know. Exactly, very few companies will qualify. That is where, because if you see almost all that 4,000 companies, you will only get at least 50, 60 companies that are doing well. Rest all of the companies you will not see good numbers. See, for quarterly, ideally you should be looking at quarter on quarter. But if you're seeing from an extremely long term perspective, I think you can have both the views. आप quarterly भी देख सकते हो, आप year on year भी देख सकते हो. यहाँ पे ideally IT sector के लिए we look at sequential basis में. For IT we usually consider quarter on quarter, but for a lot of other sectors we look at year on year. So now, I mean, that is what I want. I want you to zero down on your company का जो range है वो एकदम narrow down होना चाहिए. ऐसे conditions आपको देखने चाहिए जहाँ पे the numbers are extremely strong. So profit making companies, revenue companies. So now you will zero down and at least आप, इससे मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि आपका long term pick आपका एकदम से सही हो जाएगा, because we are not discussing valuation and all these things in detail. We are not looking at going into depth of these companies, but at least ये जो initial stock picking होता है, at least आप क्या करोगे ना, ऐसे जब भी आप देखोगे तो you will avoid companies like Ola, you will avoid companies which are loss making companies. तो clearly ऐसे सब companies आपके watch list से ही बाहर आ जाएगा. So at least your focus will be on good companies and then you can build on to that. Can we expect miracles in one quarter? Maybe one off कभी हो सकता है, but ideally you should give 2 or 3 quarters for that. ITC, let's see. ITC, see, maybe I feel at some point of time, maybe we will see some reversal coming in ITC. I feel a higher duties is not going to stop people from smoking cigarettes, just like how a higher STT is not going to stop people from trading. So I feel at some point of time, it's more of sentiment driven fall is what we are seeing in ITC, but some recovery will definitely come in the future in ITC. आईटी कंपनीज तो अवॉइड करना आदित्य जी, अभी थिंक काफी टूट चुका है. अभी वो एआई कंसर्न्स देखना पड़ेगा, हाउ आईटी कंपनीज आर गोइंग टू अडैप्ट विद एआई. और see, that is the thing, right? So you have to take a call. New age companies, if you see, a lot of new age companies might not be doing good profits here. So maybe usme, but still, despite that, if you feel, oh, companies ka, see, ideally for all the new age companies, they focus more on the top line, more on the less on the bottom line here. But all the established companies initially sub revenue growth pe focus karte hai, but over a period of time, their focus shift to maintaining the bottom line here. So for new age companies, maybe you can see kiska revenue and EBITDA margins healthy hai. For if you look at Eternal for that matter was loss making. अब धीरे धीरे उसमें एक टर्न अराउंड स्टोरी नजर आ रहा है. बट अगर आप ऐसे कंपनीज देखोगे, लेंसकार्ट फॉर एग्जांपल लॉस मेकिंग है, Grow, for example, is a profit making company. But if you see a lot of other names, uh, then you have to look at the numbers for the new age companies here. Exactly. So new age companies के लिए maybe you can give a lot of importance to revenue, but at some point of time उनका profitability भी आना चाहिए, because at the end of the day business किसके लिए करते हैं? Profit के लिए करते हैं. अगर profit ही नहीं है, if you keep taking money and that is not translating into profits, वो कितना sustain कर पाएगा future में? That is very difficult to say. Yeah, we'll cover dividends. So the list is still pending, Harish ji. So I have to do EPS, I have to do interest coverage ratio, I have to do dividend yields, I have to show you promoter, I have to teach you pledge, I have to look at the FII holding. So there are still a lot of things that are pending in this list here. I'll keep on adding more things in the list. Bajaj Finance has adopted AI and increases performance. Bajaj Finance is good. Like I said, उसका चार्ट स्ट्रक्चर पॉजिटिव है. वी डिस्कस दैट सुधाकर जी. इट हैज गिवन अ डाउनवर्ड स्लोपिंग ब्रेकआउट एंड आई फील यहाँ पे एक अच्छा अपसाइड लग रहा है बजाज फाइनेंस में, बट इट नीड्स टू होल्ड अबाउट 980 985. एज ऑफ नाउ डोंट थिंक एआई कंपनीज आर टू मच ओवर वैल्यूड. होप द आई थिंक कुछ ज्यादा ही एआई कर रहे हैं और सबके मन में एक डर बैठ गया है. आई थिंक मेरे को भी डर बैठ गया अभी एआई से. मुझे लगता है कि मेरी भी जरूरत नहीं होगी. आई थिंक थोड़े दिन में मेरा एक ऐसा पुतला बन जाएगा, एक रोबोट आ जाएगा, वो बोलेगा आई एम अश्विन एंड द रोबोट विल स्टार्ट टॉकिंग टू यू एंड यू पुट एनी क्वेश्चंस टू द रोबोट विल एनालाइज. आप बजाज फाइनेंस का कुछ पूछोगे तो पूरा वो रोबोट एनालाइज करके आपको एक व्यू दे देगा कि क्या हुआ है यहाँ पे. सो आई थिंक ह्यूमन चाहिए ही नहीं होगा. आई थिंक आगे जाके प्रोबेबली इन अ कपल ऑफ इयर्स, आई थिंक मिड मार्केट यू विल हैव अ रोबोट सिटिंग हियर एंड डूइंग मिड मार्केट विथ यू. आप लोग चेंज नहीं हो गए. आप तो, हम तो रोबोट पे नहीं होंगे, आप लोग तो सेम हो गए. मुझे लगता है कि एक रोबोट यहाँ पे बैठ जाएगा और वो खुद आपके लिए मिड मार्केट सेशन कर लेगा यहाँ पे. सो आई थिंक अभी मेरा नौकरी भी खतरे में ऐसा लग रहा है मुझे यहाँ पे जाके. AI can't predict. I think it can predict based on the data that is being fed. I think for AI, I think it's the data that is important. So and the prompts that you give and the use case of that data, I think that is what is important here. So oil companies is see, I think your oil upstream companies will do well when crude oil prices go up. But if crude oil prices go down, only then your oil downstream companies will start to do well. You should, sir, you should start giving prompts. The thing is, a robot can actually do my job. What if a robot comes and sits here and answers all your queries? I feel a robot can definitely do that. And you tell the robot क्या करना चाहिए Bajaj Finance का. I think robot can kind of help that with you is what I feel. AI is huge capex and energy guzzler. Don't worry. But at some point of time, yes, I think we'll all have to adapt to AI. I think if not, शायद हम पीछे रह जाएंगे यहाँ पे. Exactly. I think that is where I feel AI doesn't have emotional connect to that. So I feel जहाँ पर भी इमोशंस इन्वॉल्व है वहां पे आई थिंक हम एआई से बच सकते हैं. बट जहाँ पे इमोशंस इन्वॉल्व नहीं रहना चाहिए, स्पेशली स्टॉक ट्रेडिंग में हम बोलते हैं इमोशंस नहीं लेके आना चाहिए. बट आई थिंक दैट इज वेयर आई फील so it's a game of emotional intelligence. I think that is what will probably mean at the end of the day. बट वो रोबोट को ट्रेन भी किया जा सकता है, राइट? अभी रोबोट को बोलेंगे एक्ट लाइक एन इमोशनल पर्सन, तो रोबोट विल स्टार्ट एक्टिंग लाइक एन इमोशनल पर्सन नाउ. सो इट विल नॉट lay too much emphasis on data, and even robot will start having feelings now. So I think that also can be done. I think too much weightage given to AI. I think it's a narrative that is being set here. अभी वो narrative flop होगा या hit होगा, I think वो आने वाले दिनों में ही पता चलेगा यहाँ पे. Avoid gold and silver, Manoj ji. For now, I think थोड़ा सा और stabilize होने दो gold and silver को. I think it's too early to enter into that dip now. Dip हुआ है but वो reversal नहीं आया dip के बाद. So जब वो आएगा probably then we can kind of get into. So I guess like .com bubble हुआ, I think होगा. I think at some point of time we'll all be using AI as well. I think even if you are listening to my morning podcast, या आई थिंक अभी तो एआई ऐसा भी हो गया राइट। मैं मान लो 12:30 को मिड मार्केट करते हैं, 12 बजे मैं एक स्क्रिप्ट पढ़ लूँ कि आज एफआईआई का ऐसा है, डॉलर इंडेक्स ऐसा है, ये सेक्टर्स ऐसे है, ये स्टॉक्स ऐसे है, एंड लिटरली 12:30 को एक आदमी आ जाएगा मेरे जैसा ही शक्ल, like I'm not sitting here and talking, but you can probably have that AI where I'm literally talking to you and you will feel it's me who's talking, but मैं बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मेरा एक रोबोट ही बात कर रहा है यहाँ पे. So I think people are kind of moving to that as well. Bears, yeah, I think Nifty IT it can go down. I feel, yeah, I think इसका I think it should hold to 31,000, 31,300. That is where the immediate support is. I think any break, I think that is का previous support भी वही zone में है. But अगर हम 31,300 के नीचे जाते हैं तो हो सकता है शायद ये और नीचे जा सकता है. Yeah, absolutely. But for the people who don't know to use calculators, I think they will struggle with the calculations. So वही है, I mean calculate vanish नहीं होगा, but आपको adapt तो definitely करना पड़ेगा ऐसे. I mean you have to start using AI in your job. I don't think it is going to take away your jobs, but at least you have to adapt. You have to learn how to use AI, because if not, I think कितना ही हम ह्यूमन में रिलाई कर सकते हैं. आईटी स्टॉक जब भी रिवर्सल होगा तब हम डिस्कस करेंगे मनोहर जी, अभी फिलहाल के लिए अवॉइड आईटी इंडेक्स. ठीक है, सो आई गेस दैट्स ऑल फ्रॉम दिस वीक्स मिड मार्केट सेशन. आई होप इट वाज इंफॉर्मेटिव एंड दैट्स अ रैप. And have a happy weekend, guys. Enjoy your weekend, 14th and 15th, and happy Valentine's Day in advance for all those who are celebrating tomorrow. And have a nice rest on Sunday. And I'll see you on 15th at 12:30 on SBI Securities YouTube channel, guys. Bye, guys. Take care and stay safe. See you soon.